All right, 340 y'all. Hello everyone and happy Tuesday. Happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans here across the Tennessee Valley. It's digital host A.J. Wuest here, welcoming you back to Before the Four. Of course, the live stream where I go through some of 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast, wherever you're watching Before the Four this afternoon, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream. As always, thank you so much for watching and spending just a bit of your afternoon here. Now, as I mentioned, it is Veterans Day, and speaking of this great holiday, of course, the annual Huntsville Veterans Day Parade happened this morning. And over 170 different groups here in the Tennessee Valley came out to it, making this one of the biggest ones yet. We broadcasted and live streamed the annual parade this morning, and if you didn't get a chance to see it yet, you can still watch the full parade right now on WAFF.com, our Facebook account, as well as our YouTube channel. But as you can see here, the Madison County Hall of Heroes was there, the Vets with Vets, a really cool organization here in the Tennessee Valley. Awesome event every single year, one of the biggest parades every year here in Huntsville for Veterans Day. But now let's talk about the weather, and of course we have a special treat for you all today. We have Jada Russell in the house. Jada, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Hopefully I am not muted this time. If you tuned in this morning, I definitely was.
Yes, you are not muted. We can hear you. Jada. Yes, we are going to go through the forecast this afternoon. We have Jada Russell. She is live. I am going to give up my seat real quick. Yes.
Take a brief moment. Let's talk about some of that forecast. So you may have noticed it was quite chilly this morning, and then it was also kind of chilly even yesterday. We did have a record-breaking morning. Looking at our almanac here, today's low was 21 degrees, and it's been nearly 100 years since the last time we've seen a 100-degree Veterans Day. So 1926, it was at 22 degrees, and our normal high is around 66, so we are pretty well below that as well. So we're expecting to get back to some average temperatures in the next couple of days, which is good to note, back in those 60s. So we're going to continue to watch and see how things ebb and flow and change throughout this week. We're getting back to some 70s by the weekend. If you're looking for something to do, the Havoc will be back in town for Friday and Saturday, Sunday, I should say. And that's when we're also going to see some rain chances coming back into the forecast. On Sunday, we're expecting to see rain chances through next Tuesday, with another cold front making its way through. Now, I know that sounds like bad news, but this past weekend and the past couple of days, we've had Arctic air blowing through, which gave us those snow flurries on Monday, our record low this morning, but we aren't anticipating another version of that. We're just getting our regular run-of-the-mill cold front, because as you can see, next Thursday, we hit 60, and then we get into the upper 50s. So it's going to be a nice and comfortable drop versus the almost egregious drop that we had this weekend. So we're getting back to some warmer forecasts, but tonight we're expecting to see some 40s back in the forecast for your evening. Brad, of course, will be on air at 4, 5, 6, and 10 with a full look at the forecast. Thank you for having me, AJ. I really appreciate
absolutely. It is really crazy to see. The high was 39. What was it, 39 yesterday?
Yes.
And now we're going into the 70s for Saturday. So
it's been a wild forecast, and it's been tough to pin down because this is so many different numbers, and you're like, are you sure?
Right.
But I mean, we had that Arctic front, and that's what they do.
Right. I was absolutely freezing yesterday, but glad it is warming up a bit as we progress into the week. 100%. Well, Jada, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. And also, make sure y'all tune in to Weather Extra tonight at 9:30. You can watch that wherever you're watching Before the Four right now. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis will be back here tonight, here in the streaming center. Feel free to leave a comment, any thoughts, questions, concerns you might have. Brad will shout you out. He always has a great time with it. And yes, you're just not going to want to miss it. 48 First Alert Weather Extra. But now turning over to a story in case you missed it. On Friday night, more teenage girls escaped from the Pathway facility in Owens Crossroads. Now, this after the troubled teen facility was on the verge of having its business license revoked due to issues such as this. Now, the City Council will meet again this week to review the business once again. Nick Ballinger reports.
The dust has settled on Pathway and Owens Crossroads' eventful weekend, which saw 6 girls escape on Friday and multiple police calls over the following 48 hours. The facility was allowed to maintain operations despite a riot in 2024 and a number of escapes in the past 12 months. But that agreement to keep the doors open came with conditions. It's been 97 days since Pathway was given this set of requirements to meet within 90 days, so let's check. Agrees to house only residents who present requiring low to moderate level of care as defined by DHR policy. Check. Must meet and maintain residency and housing regulations as provided by DHR. Check. Install and maintain fencing with razor wire around entire property. That one doesn't seem to be met as of today. The resolution says if the conditions weren't met by 90 days, the business license would be revoked. City Clerk Christy Easton has heard from residents and city leaders.
And they're not happy with the status of progress or lack thereof.
The City Council will now meet later this week to once again discuss the troubled teen facility and its future.
I believe that the city has gone above and beyond the requirements stated by law to give Pathway opportunity at time and time again to get things in order for the girls.
Easton says city leaders will review the conditions of the deal and will present its decision to city attorneys.
So it's a concern of ours. We want our community to be safe. We're concerned for the girls, but obviously things aren't going exactly the way they need to.
I reached out to Pathway's attorney for comment and was told, quote, no comment. In Owens Crossroads, Nick Ballinger, 48 on your side.
And now moving out to Fort Payne, where one is now in custody after 2 were killed in a shooting Sunday night. Will Eldridge has the latest on that fatal shooting.
I spoke with the neighbors of the victims, and they tell me they heard gunshots and moved away from the windows and stayed low.
It sounded like something was hitting our door and our wall, and it took me a second to realize it's gunshots. I told Victoria, get down, get away from the window.
Both Victoria and Joseph Noonan say the gunfire caught them by surprise. Joseph says he rushed to the door and looked outside to see police running to the scene.
I did open the front door, and a police officer was running by, and he says, get in the house now. And I told Victoria, lock the door, stay away from the windows.
He slammed the door shut and they took cover, but it's left them feeling unsettled even though the suspected killer, Jacob Mitchum, is now in custody.
This makes me feel very unsafe. I couldn't sleep last night thinking of it.
Fort Payne police say Mitchum is charged with capital murder for what they call a domestic-related shooting. He is in custody and being held without bond. Reporting in Fort Payne, Will Eldridge, 48, on your side.
And now with that, we're going to head to break, but coming up, a restraining order filed by the Attorney General against a wellness clinic in Coleman. We'll talk about that, of course, and the latest on the government shutdown. We'll go through it all in 1 minute. All right, break is over. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Before the Four. Now moving down to Coleman, where a restraining order has been filed against a wellness clinic. This after the business was accused of giving out dangerous weight loss drugs. James Giles with WBRC with the latest.
We trust our healthcare providers. We trust our doctors, we trust our nurses, and we trust them. And when they tell us that it's an FDA-approved medication, we have no reason in the world to doubt that.
That trust, attorney Jeremy Knowles says, is now turning into fear for dozens of his clients.
I'm in talks with several more.
Clients came to Aurora IV and Wellness in Coleman, which also has locations in Alabaster and Alexander City, hoping for better health. But for some, that hope has now turned into deep concern. A temporary restraining order filed by the Attorney General's office alleges the business gave clients unsafe research-grade weight loss drugs when they believed they were paying for pharmaceutical medication.
Someone in the facility realized what was going on, confronted them about it. Her fears were confirmed, and then from there she went to law enforcement.
And even more alarming, court documents describe the drug as a clinical trial medication not intended for human use. Still, investigators say it ended up in the arms of paying customers.
This clinic was passing these substances off as that, still charging it as if it was the FDA approved, when in fact it was not FDA approved. That's been several months ago.
WBRC reached out to the spa's attorney Monday afternoon but has not received a response. According to court documents, there's a hearing set for Thursday, November 13th on the AG's restraining order, which is currently preventing the clinic from operating.
Dozens and dozens of patients who literally don't know what has been injected into their body, and they're very concerned and they're worried.
And now let's talk about the government shutdown, now seemingly reaching its end after 42 days. Molly Martinez has the latest after the Senate passed a spending bill last night. Let's take a look.
7 Democrats and an independent broke rank Monday night to reopen the government, but now face backlash from their own party. The group faces scrutiny for not getting any deliverables on health care, for which the party had been holding out. They got the promise of a health care vote in the future, which is likely to fail in the Republican-led chamber. Now, a chorus is growing for leader Chuck Schumer, believed to be the architect behind the deal, to step down.
Schumer and I have very fundamental disagreements about where the Democratic Party should be, and I am strongly supporting candidates for the Senate who are not part of the Democratic establishment, who believe in Medicare for all, who are prepared to take on the big money interests and fight for working people.
The bill the Senate passed now heads to the House, where it faces challenges created by the shutdown. The House hasn't been in session for 50 days, and physically getting members back in town could prove to be a challenge as flights snarl in airports across the nation. In Washington, I'm Molly Martinez.
And with that, let's talk about the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscasts. Speaking with Representative Dale Strong about the shutdown, 48's Faith Delp, of course, will have that coming up. More Veterans Day events held across the valley today. And finally, a major project along I-65 coming to a halt this winter. We'll have more of those details coming up, and these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscasts. And y'all know what time it is. It is, of course, time for our Facebook Fun segment of Before the Four. And, of course, our 48 Facebook question today was, what are your Thanksgiving dinner must-haves? What do you need on the table for Thanksgiving Day? What is your go-to? What is your favorite? That's what I want to know. And let's see what you all had to say. Looks like Kathy said macaroni and ham casserole and broccoli rice. All right. Sarah said turkey for sure, but I enjoy all the fixins and pumpkin pies. 100%. Gotta have that turkey on Turkey Day. And speaking of turkey, we have turkey dressing from Dana Paddock. That is some good-looking turkey dressing right there, as you can see. I get my hands confused. Turkey, more turkey, said David Hutto. 100%. Gotta have that turkey. Deviled eggs for my son. Crystal Smith said that. Love deviled eggs 100%. You could make a dozen deviled eggs. I would probably eat every single one of them within 5 minutes, honestly. I just love deviled eggs that much. Joshua Pack said gumbo. Interesting choice there. Nothing wrong with that, though. Gotta love some good old gumbo. Janet said rolls. Nothing like some freshly cooked rolls. Looks like we have some ham, chocolate cake, and football. Derek Crutcher, the football, that ladder right there, that is one of my favorite flavors, one of my favorite meals on Thanksgiving Day. Definitely nothing like Thanksgiving. Sitting back, being thankful for everyone in your life who have made a difference, as well as feasting on some turkey. For me, my Thanksgiving must-have is definitely some mashed potatoes, some mac and cheese as well. Nothing wrong with any of that, but also you're sitting back, you're watching some football. Love Thanksgiving, one of my favorite holidays for sure. But y'all, that is awesome comments as always from you all. Sounds like you all have really good taste for Thanksgiving Day. But y'all, that is just about all the time I have for today's Before the Four. But thank you all for sticking around, spending a bit of your Tuesday, a bit of your Veterans Day here watching Before the Four. I hope you all enjoyed tonight's evening newscast. And as always, you all have a great night.